Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast, presented by Goose Island, the official beer of CHGO and me. Find one of their Chicago locations at gooseisland.com/locations. We are live in Nashville. I will not call it Nash Vegas ever. That is stupid. Stop doing that. We are 24 plus 6 hours, 30 hours, 31 hours away from Connor Bedard becoming a Chicago Blackhawk. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well. Podcasters, we love you too. Follow us, subscribe to us, all that great stuff, and leave us those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It's a great way to celebrate Connor Bedard's arrival in Chicago. But before we get to the draft tomorrow, fellas, we have two new Blackhawks. We've only had a few minutes to talk about with the people. We did a quick stop in Elizabethtown, Kentucky's BP gas station.
As one does.
To give a quick 90 seconds on the Taylor Hall-Nick Foligno deal. So we're going to start there today. The Hawks traded the rights to Ian Mitchell and Alec Regula to the Boston Bruins for Nick Foligno and Taylor Hall. And they re-signed Foligno, who is an unrestricted free agent today, to a one-year, $4 million deal. And as we've been telling you for weeks, when you see these free agent contracts come in, don't worry about the money, worry about the term. The Hawks are going to overpay some guys here in the short term, and Nick Foligno is very happy with $4 million, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the money, don't worry about it. It's one, it's not your dollars, and two, they just need to get to the cap floor, which they're just about at, factoring in, the contracts still needed for Connor Bedard as the assumed number one pick, and Philipp Kurashev assuming that he's coming back, which I think is a safe assumption. With all that factored in, they're just a few million away, and that's just to get to the floor. Right. So they have so much cushion that it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, I would imagine that they're not stopping at the floor, because if you make trades during the season, you still have to be above the floor. So
as long as you get to the floor by the trade deadline.
Yeah, so if you got Nick Foligno, who $4 million, probably more than you should be paying a Nick Foligno in a normal situation.
About $3 million more.
But hey, congrats.
I'm just being
You're not wrong. I mean, you're probably not wrong. At this point in his career, that's probably about right.
But the vibes are great, so that's the extra $3 million.
At first, he was probably like, man, I don't want to move and get traded. And then they're like, oh, you're going to pay me how much?
Yeah.
Give me all the Chicago.
Worth your while.
But they'll probably still get a guy or two in free agency, maybe, because you've got Foligno at $4 million, 1 year term. That's the key. So you look to flip him at the deadline. You're gonna probably have to retain 50%, because I don't think anybody's going to take that whole cap hit for the remainder of the season, which is fine.
Yeah,
you've got the retention slot. One's wrapped up in. You get 3 retention slots, correct?
Yep.
One's wrapped up in Jake McCabe, so you got 2 more slots. I don't see too many other. Retention type trades coming this year. You're not going to trade Taylor Hall this year. That will probably be something done either at next year's draft or next year's trade deadline. So if you're trading Foligno's $4 million cap hit, you've got to be able to refurbish that and get. So either you're going to take money back in any trade, or you're going to want to be $2, $3, $4 million over the cap floor to compensate for that. So
I went on Cap Friendly this morning and tried to, plug things in as best I could. So I've got, Hall's there, Foligno's new deal. I've got Bedard at $950,000, which is a rookie deal. The rest of the forward group you could probably predict. It's Dickinson, Johnson, Athanasiou, Reese Johnson, Radish, Blackwell, Kurashev at 1.9, which was speculated. I think it was Ben Pope speculated 1.9 for Philipp Kurashev.
Sounds fair.
Cole Gutman, Boris Kachuk, Lucas Reichel, Mackenzie Entwistle. That's your forward group. On D, it's Jones, Tenorti, Phillips, Zaitsev, still signed at 4.5. Murphy, Vlasic, and I gave Caleb Jones $2 million. We'll see what happens there.
Also sounds fair.
Goaltenders, Peter Mrazek and Arvid Soderblom. So then at that point, the cap hit is, where did it go, Mario? We just looked at it.
It should be at the top.
It should be. There it is. $64,418,457.
And the salary cap is 83.5, and the floor, I believe, is going to be about 62. So so you have a little bit of space above the floor, and that's with adding no one else. They could still add a free agent forward to pad that floor space a little bit. Even with having Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno coming in, the door is not closed to potentially going and getting Max Domi and having that be your big free agency sign, because that's going to be term and pretty decent money for him. But he's also in a position where I'm sure maybe 25 teams are knocking on his door rather than a handful that we maybe expected when he was with the Hawks. The way he played in Dallas, I think, opened up a lot of opportunities for him. So we'll see.
The other thing you wonder, too, is does this shut the door on a potential, Connor Garland, Brock Besser taking on a bad deal from another team? Here's what I would think. I would think that it's either Domi or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be both of those. I don't think they're going to add another what? You're going to pay Domi, if Domi signs here, 5.5, 6?
Yeah.
I mean, and then you're going to bring in Besser, so it's another 6. I mean, it's fine with me.
Right. Yeah,
but I just don't know how much I want to spend.
The cap with that much money, but you don't need to start flirting with it at all.
We'll know more about that by the time we leave Nashville, long before free agency opens.
Oh, yeah.
The Vancouver stuff is still out there. Mm-hmm. Another team that still needs to clear cap space is the Washington Capitals. I don't rule out a trade with them. Mm-hmm. We've heard Anthony Mantha's name. TJ Oshie could be a guy.
Josh Bailey's another one we've heard.
Josh Bailey. So those are still plenty of options. So if Kyle Davidson goes out and makes another one of those trades here during the draft, then you can probably be like, all right, Saturday is going to be a big, nothing for the Hawks.
Yeah.
Maybe they add a couple guys on that can be two-way guys, like a Joey Anderson type that can come up and down. And even though I expect that every time, it still gets
so stupid.
That's why it works. So yeah, if they go and get one of those guys here at the draft, take on some cap, other contracts, then Saturday free agency
might be quiet.
Don't expect Max Domi. Don't expect JT Comfort. It's not going to happen. But if they don't make any of those other taking on contract trades, then those guys are still kind of in play.
Honestly, I'll be surprised.
We've got our buddy Jesse from DNVR Avs. If they add on another contract, his ears perked up when we mentioned JT Comfort.
Yeah, well, we should talk about that too, because it's the first show we've done since I reported that. I think that was Sunday or Saturday, whatever it was. Heard from multiple sources that JT Comfort and the Blackhawks have mutual interest in each other. However, I should qualify this by saying that JT Comfort has interest from, I'm told, 15 or 16 NHL teams. Yeah. If he can't go to an immediate contender, would prefer to play in Chicago for the reasons we're talking about. First of all, he's from here, which is noteworthy.
Northbrook,
wants to be close to his family, of course.
Here's Nashville.
We're in Nashville. He's from Chicago,
by the way. If you didn't realize.
He is from Chicago. And obviously the Hawks can probably pay him more than any contender can. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are saying, like, well, no, if he wants to play for a contender, he's not going to play for Chicago. Well, if you factor in the more money and close to home, the Hawks do have a shot at landing JT Comfort. But this is the thing is the Hawks probably have irons in the fire on a dozen guys. And just mutual interest doesn't mean that it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean the Hawks screwed it up. They probably came in here and said, let's get Taylor Hall. That is the most reasonable, logical, best option for Connor Bedard. It allows him to play center. It gives him a great and accomplished, an MVP, a number 1 overall pick, left winger that can mentor if you believe in such things. I don't know if I do, but whatever. And you've got Reichel. That is a solid first line.
Yeah.
Lucas Reichel is somewhere in Germany very happy right now.
Yeah.
You also addressed the leadership toughness thing with Nick Foligno. So now you're not as desperate to go add a JT Comfort or a Max Domi, but I don't think it means they're not going to. I think that they're still going to try. I really do.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if we get to, Friday morning and the Blackhawks haven't done anything with their current group of picks in this year's draft to make some maneuvering that involves taking on a bad contract player. Like I would be shocked if they don't do that in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
So I think and like you said, that will mold the free agent blueprint a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I also let's spend another minute on JT Compher because, man, I tweeted that out and people from Colorado were freaking out. Like, no, I'm like, it's JT Compher. He's a nice player. Everyone loves JT Compher, but people were upset at that concept.
Well, you're also talking to the guy. I get that. Like, I get the attachment to your role player, your secondary guys. This is a guy that
we would have freaked if Dave Bolin got traded.
I was furious, angry, and heartbroken when Chris Versteeg was traded for the first time. So I get it.
Yeah,
I get
absolutely.
I get that. Yeah.
Well, and he's a guy that fit a role that now, if and when he leaves Colorado, they'll have to try and fill again.
Right.
And Ryan Johansson is there, but.
Well, right, yeah. Well, Ryan Johansson's there to fill the role of Nazem Kadri that didn't get filled last year.
Yeah,
and they realized how important that was when
Kadri was gone.
Yeah, and Kerfoot wasn't able, or is it New? I get those, why do I always get New? I always get those guys confused. If they had different,
same guy.
if they had different first names, I'd nail it every time. Whatever Alex is in Colorado, he didn't get the job done.
Yeah,
that's why they went out and got Ryan Johansson.
There you go. LP asked a good question. If they bring in another forward, who's the odd man out getting sent down or traded? So if you look at the bottom of the roster, Mackenzie Entwistle, who has no family to fall back on, so that's sad.
That's tough.
Cole Gutman, remind me, one-way deal, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that part of
the NHL deal? Yeah.
Yeah, it's an NHL deal. Boris Kachuk is at the bottom of the roster. Reese Johnson's at the bottom of the roster. So, yeah, you bring another forward, and not only are you suddenly going to have to probably ship out a bottom six guy that you kind of, not ship out, but send down a bottom six guy you like, you also might be dangerously close to decent.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But I think that probably plays into the part of a reason why Joey Anderson has a two-way deal. Because then that's easy for him to then already understand, hey, you're probably going to play some time in Rockford. So, yeah, I mean, he's a guy that would be in that bottom six kind of mixture as well. Yeah, I think Luke Richardson really likes Reese Johnson. I think Boris Kachuk kind of finally put together a decent bottom six game at the end of last season. I think the organization really likes Mackenzie Entwistle. So, yeah, I mean, you might be in a position where someone gets moved out that you're maybe not expecting, or someone's just going to have to take some tough news in stride and see what happens. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think you're necessarily going to. And I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but you're not going to miss many of those guys in the roster, and especially depending on who you bring in. If you bring in a Comfer or a Domi or something like that, to what you're saying is like, oh, you might actually be decent. Like, okay. That's fine.
That's okay.
We're not tanking this year.
Right.
Like getting Bedard completely changes that aspect. They might still finish in the lottery.
Yeah,
but they're not purposely trying.
Well,
to
here's the thing, and I think of it this way too. Like what forwards? If the Hawks were to bring in some forwards, right? Like
we're also forgetting Colin Blackwell.
Yes, we are.
Because he was on the floor, we couldn't see him. He fell down again.
I could see him.
That just popped in my head. I was like, oh, we didn't mention Colin Blackwell.
But like Reichel's up, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Gutman, if he's ready for the regular season, is probably up. Mm-hmm. What forwards would these guys be holding back developmentally? No one's really NHL close to ready in the minors right now for the Hawks. I hesitate at bringing in another veteran defenseman.
Yeah. Even they should not.
And as much as I like Caleb Jones, I'm kind of like,
you won't lose sleep over it.
Yeah, one way or another, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But even if they bring in Domi and Comfer or Besser or whoever, there's nobody who is in the system like looking up like, hey, when am I going to get my chance?
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to keep Lucas Reichel out of the lineup. If that was the case, then I would have an issue with it.
Yeah.
But that's just simply not going to happen. So if they want to bring guys in and be a little competitive because you've got the shortcut, Connor Bedard, I think that's a good thing, and let him get his career started in a productive way. Yeah. Don't give him any sort of doubts about himself because he's playing with Taylor Radish and Philip Kurashev, two guys I like, but let's face it, they're not top six forwards.
Not first liners.
Yeah.
This is a good time to get stockpile forwards this year and next season.
Yeah, 2-year deal.
What forward prospects are NHL ready. Nobody.
Lucas Reichel.
To me, he's not even. I barely.
He's out of prospect range, pretty much.
Yeah, he technically, if we go by games played, still a prospect, but he's an NHL guy.
He'll be in the prospect pyramid.
What other forwards? There's nobody that you can really call up next season in case of emergency, break glass and call up who? Michael Tepley?
It's going to be your I think it's going to be your Ryder Ralston type guys who they don't have much of an NHL future.
And even next season,
Buddy
you're not going to be ready for Frank Nazar. You're not going to be ready for Ryan Green and Paul Ledwinski and these guys. They need time in Rockford.
Colton Dock this year will need his time in Rockford.
He needs to be in Rockford for the entire season.
Yeah, Doc could maybe
give him a sniff at the end of the year after the trade deadline. Let him come out and play 6 or 7 games, whatever, depending on how his season's going.
Lipin too.
Yeah. So, but you don't have guys. So signing veteran forwards this year, having too many forwards this year, and even next year is not a big deal.
No.
It's probably preferred because you don't want to bring up guys too soon because you have to. You want to bring them up when they're ready, or in Lucas Reichel's case, way ready. So
overly ready.
So yeah, it's okay to have too many forwards because all those guys we mentioned in the bottom 6, and we spent 82 games last year saying this. They're all the same guy.
Yeah,
they're the same dude. They all do the same thing. Yeah. So if you have to get rid of 1 or 2. You still got 4 guys that do the same thing.
Yeah, and as you spend time covering these guys, you start to kind of like them personally, and that's where I'm at with Mackenzie Entwistle. And you're like, I hope he sticks around. He's a good guy to talk to, and seems like a good kid. But what is he as a hockey player? I don't know.
He's bottom 6, and there you can find a lot of them. What was the term on the former name of this podcast that you guys had? The fourth line farm.
Oh yeah, the fourth line farm.
You could go there and find another one.
Yeah, we love Mackenzie Entwistle because he's a good dude, and he enjoyed our running joke of him being an orphan.
Because we're all he has.
We're basically family to him.
Yeah. We are. It's the only family he has, and we appreciate that. And he is a really good kid.
Do we need to explain this? Because we might have some new listeners since we've last refreshed.
Yeah, we've got 231 people watching. There's got to be a couple new.
All right.
Flashback. It's story time.
We're in Denver, first game of the season last year, and we talked to Mackenzie Entwistle before the game, and he's talking about how some guys are on the trip and they've got their kids and their wives and their whatever, and he's like, me, I don't have a family, so it's just me out here. And the way he said it made it sound like he literally does not have a family, like his family passed away, and then throughout the season we just spent time
tragic Goodyear
creating ways his family died horrifically,
and they are all fine.
They're fine.
His parents follow us all on Twitter.
And at the end of the year, we had Mackenzie on, and we let him in on the bit, and he had a good time with it. So yes, Mackenzie Entwistle is
his family is fine.
Yes, his parents are alive and well, and very proud of their NHL son,
our favorite fictitious orphan.
But to get back to the original point about Mackenzie Entwistle, yes, we love him. He's a great guy. But how many other NHL rosters is he on?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in Chicago for 2 seasons because they need guys that have pulses and can bring their own skates.
Yeah.
Like, how many contending teams is Mackenzie Entwistle playing on? None of them.
Probably zero.
Yeah.
So he's in the perfect situation for him, and he definitely has progressed.
Yeah.
He's a kid that went from being a fairly good offensive-minded player in juniors to realizing I got to be a grinder. I got to be a penalty killer. I got to go be physical if I need to make it in this league. And for some guys, it takes way too long for them to figure it out to where it's almost too late. Like, nope, you've been pigeonholed. So credit for him. But again, if they go out and get other forwards and it's costs Mackenzie Entwistle playing time or he gets traded, okay.
I mean,
it will suck to lose a great guy to talk to in the locker room, but there's going to be lots of great guys that we enjoy in the locker room that are going to be playing for other teams over the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, and look,
there's going to be new great guys to talk about in a season or two.
Yes. Yeah, and by the way, Casey, our social media coordinator, who's here in Nashville with us, She covered Nick Foligno in Columbus and is so happy he's back.
Oh, yeah.
Supposed to be a great guy, awesome to talk to. So we'll talk to him.
His reputation around the league is as being one of the best kind of locker room guys there is, and that's fantastic for the Blackhawks to bring in.
And the other thing with Entwistle too, just kind of tie a bow on the thing is, we talk about who's going to come up then when guys get hurt. That's who comes up. You'd send him down to Rockford. He becomes a leader. He becomes a top 6 probably down there, looking at their roster right now.
Yeah. Maybe
a top 9. Provide some leadership, provide some NHL experience, and then when you have a problem, you can call him up and he's not going to hurt you.
No.
So
it's a nice problem. Yo, Mackenzie can solve it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Check out his hook. No, we don't want him to hook.
No, we don't need that.
No, never mind.
No,
this is more Mackenzie Entwistle talk on this show than I expected.
It's a lot.
We've talked about more about Mackenzie Entwistle today than the day we actually had him on the show.
What? Hey, remember when you played with Patrick Kane? Was that awesome? Yeah. Hey, we should remind you, folks, you're looking to go back to school, get your degree. Students just like you are going to Lewis University, my alma mater. You can get, if you got a full-time job, a family, a full-time sports fandom, they take up your time. But you can go back to school and earn a respected degree at Lewis University. It's 35 simple miles southwest of Chicago in Romeoville, and it's ranked as U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. Lewis partners with numerous employers for tuition discounts and offers evening, online, and blended formats to help you balance work, family, and education. Their faculty brings real-world experience to the classroom, which is immediately relevant to your career. Lewis offers career support and academic resources for all students looking to complete your bachelor's or master's degree or enroll in a professional certificate program. Lewis has the right program for you. The grad programs, the criminal social justice public safety program is great. First responders get 20% off tuition, and tuition is deferred for 6 weeks after the end of each class. Undergrad, there are so many great programs to choose: computer science, aviation maintenance technology certificates, business analytics, criminal justice, business programs, technology programs, and of course, the radio, TV, broadcasting department, which is where I was.
Yeah.
Discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu/you can do this. You can do this.
And hey, we are also brought to you by Goose Island, the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, the presenting sponsor of us here while we are in Nashville, and Chicago's beer since 1988. How can you argue that with their deep and talented roster of beers, starting off with the Goose IPA, the 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest, always in style with their citrus aroma and bold hop finish. The Tropical Beer Hug, a dry hopped Imperial IPA with a 9.9 ABV that is dangerously easy to drink. The Full Pocket Pills, the everyday beer. It is what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. And of course, on these golden summer days, go grab yourself a golden can of 312, the staple of Goose Island's beer roster. And if you're in the Chicagoland area, you can grab ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or go to their tap room in our normal neck of the woods. It's on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that is the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
Before we move on, Snake in the comments was asking what time the festivities start tomorrow for the draft. It is 6 o'clock Chicago time or 7 o'clock Eastern. Not sure where you're watching from, Snake. At least in the United States, ESPN Plus is where you'll be able to watch the draft. Someone else asked if we're going live for round one like we did last year. No, there'll be no live draft shows. As fun as it was doing 4 straight hours of hockey
4.5
shows, DNVR is going to be having a live show. So
PHNX,
check out our.
I think is doing one too.
So check out our All-City teammates. But all 3 of us will be at the Bridgestone Arena for all the rounds, getting you all the news and information there. But we will be live after round 1 tomorrow night, probably an hour-ish after the draft wraps up. We'll be on. It'll be a later show. And then Thursday we'll be on after the rounds 2 through 7. That will be probably late afternoon, early evening.
5 o'clock.
Yeah. Make sure you're following us on social media. We'll keep you updated on times as best we can. The other thing to know is this morning, all 3 networks got together, CHGO, DNVR, and PHNX, and did a full first-round mock draft. That is being produced up right now and we'll drop sometime this afternoon. I would say 3-ish,
Sure.
give or take. So keep your eye on that. We'll tweet it out when it's done. But it was a good time, a lot of fun. I said Regina instead of Regina, and I'm very upset.
It happens.
I just spoiled the first pick. Damn it.
Well, no.
Darn.
There are other guys on the Regina Pats that played hockey this year.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
Maybe it was someone else. Who knows? Ooh. Who knows? Well, we should talk about the trip a little bit, too.
Yeah, the trip.
Yesterday, drove down
it's been smooth so far.
So far, knock on that looks like actual wood.
That looks like real wood.
Mahogany
That's
tables.
not the compressed sawdust.
Yeah.
It's not the stuff we have back at the office.
Yeah. But it was good. Yeah, you guys came to my house in Homewood, which I appreciate. Finally living in the far south burbs pays off for me, where I don't have to get up quite as early as you guys did.
I mean, your house was halfway between my house and Nashville, so it was logistically perfect.
Oh, come on. It's not that far south. So
No,
it's 187th at Halstead. You can do it. Anyway, so nice smooth drive. The three of us, Steven, our producer, Casey, hit the road, and we got here, we stopped for lunch, stopped for gas. Stopped at McDonald's once.
We got in about 4:30, just enough time to pick up the credentials.
So 8:30 to 4:30 about was our trip.
Yeah, we made 3 stops, about an hour for lunch, about 30 minutes in Elizabethtown, Kentucky to gas up, talk about Taylor Hall, and buy those little ice cream cones.
Those are still in the car. Someone go get a spoon.
That's a bag of chocolate by now.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing. I don't care.
We had a great lunch at against the Grain
in Louisville.
That was excellent. And the menu said world's greatest chicken tendies, and I said I accept your challenge. And they were pretty good. They're very good. I fail to think of a better chicken tender off the top of my head, but I don't know if it's the world's best yet. I haven't tried every chicken tendy in the world.
You haven't had a chicken tender in Portugal yet.
So, not yet.
Yeah.
That's true.
Not yet.
Yeah. You got to get around the world and try out all the chicken tenders.
Our buddy Alexander from Portugal has to freeze dry you some Portuguese chicken
nuggies,
Portuguese tendies, and send them to you.
There you go.
That sounds good.
Yep.
I'm down. I'll take all your tendies. I'll take them all. But then last night, everybody else went out. We're like, we're gonna stay here.
It was a long day.
This old guy does not do 2 a.m. anymore.
Yeah.
I think maybe later tonight we might hit the strip a little bit. We'll see what happens.
I'm down for some live tunes after dinner tonight. No doubt about that. When in Nashville, you got to go check out some live music. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And we've got our event today. We're at Hopsmith in Nashville at 1:00. If you are watching us from Nashville, there are still a few tickets left. If you go to allchgo.com, you can buy your tickets for today. We're 1 to 4 at Hopsmith. It is unlimited, all you can drink. There's food available. So calling out diehards, of course, save 20% as always on the event. So you make sure you're a diehard. And tomorrow, speaking of diehards, we're dropping our new shirt design.
Yes.
You'll never guess who the inspiration is.
Mackenzie Entwistle.
It's a Regina Pat.
It is a soon-to-be former Regina Pat.
It is a JT Comfort Blackhawks shirt. Get it now.
There you go. So no, the trip's been real smooth. I wish I tweeted a picture from my own account. I retweeted it at CHGO_Blackhawks of the war room for the mock draft.
Yeah.
And you can see that this kitchen has become
it's no longer a kitchen.
It is like a mobile studio. There's cords and cables everywhere, monitors everywhere.
It's a full production.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a thing. So it's been a lot of fun. We want to thank Steven, of course, for all of his hustle getting us. Not only did he produce the draft show this morning, he's producing this show now, and he's going to be very, very busy. But
I appreciate that, Jay, but I'm going to put you on the spot for a second here.
Yeah.
You're also doing a diary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got your diary.
I'm doing a diary. I did one last night, kind of summarizing yesterday's trip down, and I'll do one tonight.
You got to sign it XOXOJ.
I noticed an interesting error in the first paragraph.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That took long.
Yes. What's my last name, Jay?
Nicholas.
Yeah, you put Nelson in there.
You put Steven Nelson.
I did?
Yeah. I edited it.
Before I went to bed last night, I looked. I'm like, that's not my name.
This morning. And I was like, well, maybe he's thinking of Steven Nelson, who used to be on NHL Network.
No, I don't. Wow.
You were
Don't write while tired.
You were
to be
thinking
fair,
of the.
they also proofread it, right?
Ish.
Okay.
I skip over names.
I read it this morning.
Because I figured he knew the name of the dude we just spent 8 hours in the car
I did.
with.
Well, I don't know. Don't write when you're sleeping.
You were dreaming of the Nelson twins with their long blonde hair from the 80s.
Gunnar and Matthew.
Gunnar and Steven, apparently.
Maybe my half of a good news edible kicked in for my trip to Sunnyside this weekend.
It was you were shell shocked from having to watch a half hour of that atrocious NHL.
Oh my
show.
God!
Your brain had been numb.
Do we need to spend time on this?
No.
Everyone knows how bad.
Stop it! Just stop it.
It's so awkward.
Everything
so
about
bad.
it was terrible. Everything.
And why does Gary Bettman look like a Muppet? He's got like these new dyed eyebrows, and his hair is like.
Well, he's been a puppet for the owner for the last 30 years, so it's a normal
from
transition.
puppet to Muppet, the Gary Bettman story.
Yeah, it's everything about that.
It sounds like
bad.
RK can produce that up for the network.
There you go.
Oh, while we were talking about our buddy Steven Nelson over here, I wanted to give him props ahead of time because he spent most of the trip down working on
mobile studio,
a Connor Bedard hype video that will be coming out shortly after the pick is made, and it's going to be great. So
I think a little bit before the pick.
Before the pick, okay.
Yeah.
We know
like a teaser.
Yeah, we know
teaser.
who's going to be picked.
Sure. It's coming out tomorrow evening, so keep your eyes peeled to the CHGO _Blackhawks Twitter account, and it's really awesome. Steven did an amazing job on it, and I can't wait for all of you to enjoy it too.
It is arousing.
It was nice.
Yes.
It was very nice.
Even though
I enjoyed it.
It contains highlights I've seen 100 times. Every time I see them, I still go, "Holy crap, that's good!"
It just never ends.
It's
still like,
it's not even real yet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, has it even hit you yet? We've been talking about it for months. We've been excited about it. We've got a jersey on our set, but I don't think the reality of this has sunk in. And my God, like in a few months, we're gonna be watching this kid play for the Hawks for the next 10 years, 12 years, whatever it's gonna be.
50 years.
And we were watching you know what? I started like daydreaming about it when they showed. When Stamkos got the Messier Award, and they did like a little video montage of Stamkos' career, you know, first overall pick, 2-time Cup winner, has only played for one franchise, and you're like, yeah, that was like a Bedard level prospect when Stamkos came up. Maybe Bedard's a little bit higher than that actually, but like that's the dude who everyone knew was number one. Came in Tampa, did everything that everyone thought he was going to do. He had a ton of injuries, of course, but
still like.
Legendary, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Imagine if he didn't have all those injuries. We'd be talking about him and Ovechkin chasing down
absolutely.
history.
And like we last week we were talking about Duncan Keith and how he was so good for so long, and I think Kane and Taves for a while fell in this category too. You just took them for granted. Post games, you didn't even have to mention them because they were so good. It was just like, well, they're fine. Like, there's nothing even to talk about. The Hawks are about to get another guy like that. And it's unreal. Like I said last week, I cannot wait for this damn season to start.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I know McDavid won. We had our award show yesterday. Yesterday. It was definitely yesterday.
Yep.
It was on a Monday. You know, I think we talked about it a little bit where, you know, McDavid, he did win the Hart, but the conversation with McDavid and the Hart is like, yeah, ho-hum, we know he's the best player in the league. Like, it almost does him a disservice to be that good because it's just like, well, you can just give him the Hart every year and then it devalues the award because you want to say like, oh, well, who was the most valuable to your team? So if I don't want to put too heavy of expectations on it, but if we get to a point where Bedard is playing at a level like that where we're like, oh, ho hum, he just had another 100-point season, like that's one of the best spoils you can have as a hockey fan.
You know what I think is going to help us?
To not worry about your best player being like, yeah, he's going to be 100 points.
Well, we need to remember this past season.
That's it.
While we're enjoying Connor Bedard, hopefully over the next 12 to 15 years, we've got 82 post-game shows to remind us how bad it can be and will be again. It's all cyclical. So let's enjoy it while... I mean, it hasn't even started yet, but when it starts, let's enjoy it. Let's not take it for granted because this past season was living proof that it can, when it wants to be bad, it's going to be really bad.
And even if you if you rewind rather a few years before that, when all these guys we took for granted started having their declines, and it was like, oh man, I wish we can go back to those days where You didn't have to worry about any of them, and everything was fine. Like you saw, even Duncan Keith declined. Brent Seabrook, massive decline.
Patrick Sharp slowed down.
Patrick Sharp, and then Jonathan Toews with everything he went through, and Patrick Kane as a hip got worse and worse. I think that the recency of that will help people appreciate Connor Bedard more. I hope so. I hope so.
I said it when we were in Denver to start of the year last year. Remember the feeling on opening night of being in the building when the Avalanche are lifting the banner and feeling like, wow, this roster is trash. We're about to get our teeth kicked in, and this is going to be a long season. Remember that. Because by the time we get to tomorrow, that's a benchmark moment of like, hey, stuff's going to get better. And it's hopefully continues on that path up and up and up until we're raising a banner, hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah, and we told our pals Jesse and Megan, who are here with us in Nashville, when we basically penciled the Colorado Avalanche all the way through the Western Conference Finals, and then reality hit. But we told them, hey, enjoy this because it's not going to last very long. And, they had to deal with a first-round exit. But, I remember the Chicago Blackhawks the year after
their cup.
Won the cup. They were a first-round Game 7 exit in a row. Yep. And
2 round 1 exits.
Yep. And they dealt with a lot of other stuff. So, we're not writing the Avalanche off just yet, but
they'll be all right.
They'll be fine.
Their window is still definitely
They will
open.
be fine. They just need better luck in the infirmary this year.
Yeah. Ryan says, did Connor McDavid have more hype than Bedard in his draft? I would say
yes.
Yes. We were
talking about them for basically the same.
I think it feels more hyped up to Blackhawk fans because we had a shot at Bedard all season. We had no shot at Connor McDavid in 2015. We were going for a cup, so we didn't care.
Stanley Cup.
Right.
we won the Stanley Cup that draft year.
Had no first round pick that year.
We had no skin in that game. We were all like, "Oh, Connor McDavid's great, cool. I hope he's in the Eastern Conference."
And he had another where he was the dude for a couple. Everyone knew he was coming for a couple years. It was him. Mm-hmm. Crosby was that way. Austin Matthews to a degree, that was like Bedard, where everybody knew. Boy, if he was even last year had Bedard been eligible, he would have been first overall. There was no question about it. Yeah. And he's that level of prospect. So, I would say that the McDavid hype was a little bit more because he truly was. Not that Bedard is not the whole package, but McDavid has the size. He is explosively fast, and he is truly. We talk about Marian Hossa as the hockey robot. Connor McDavid is the guy when you create a player in NHL and make them all 99s. Yeah. Except for hitting.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have to.
And Connor McDavid might actually be a robot.
Well,
he might actually be. He definitely has the personality of a robot.
Having trouble interacting with Dirk Bentley's son, who was a big part of the reward show for some reason.
That's when we turned it off. That's when we turned it off.
Nothing personal against the kid, but this is the plan.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
Let's put the best hockey player on the planet next to a 6-year-old son of a country music star. Come on.
So they should have had a game show. Who's more interesting? A 6-year-old millionaire or Connor McDavid?
Well, the 6-year-old would win that competition, hands down.
He was okay in his Lindsay speech. He was all right. He talked about how it's so meaningful, and he said this is the best award to win.
That was scripted. He probably had it on a teleprompter in front of him, or he practiced it at least.
They entered into his
to try and do improv with a child.
When that
stage,
segment was over, he could not get off that little platform.
He was ready. He was ready to retire. He said, "Screw it. I don't want to play hockey anymore.
I'm going to tank next season. I don't want to be here."
Yeah.
Don't nominate me for shit next season. I'm not coming.
And I know we're not all super fond of Biz, but man, he was like. There's two ways to look at it. He was trying to energize the broadcast because it had none, or he was making the entire thing about himself.
Both things can be true.
I think they can both be true. But man, at least he was out there trying, trying to make it funny, trying to make it interesting, and trying to
pull some personality out of the guys.
Yeah,
and he did a little, but also it's just his whole personality comes off as like I'm the show.
Yeah, well, what was great was the two best talkers on the award panel were Bedard and Hughes.
Yeah,
they had the most personality of anybody they talked to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't get why we have to keep doing this. give the awards out during the Stanley Cup final, during the first 4 games of the final.
Yeah.
Give out 2 or 3 a night. Bring them out during, first intermission. Put them on the ice so they can wave to the crowd and get a cheer for. Hey, if one of those players is playing in the game, he can go out there in his uniform and get the heart. Do it right before opening faceoff or something. They did that during 2013, during the Bruins Blackhawks series, because everything was pushed back so far because of the lockout. Yeah. But PK Subban got his Norris Trophy at the United Center before Game 1. Yeah. Just do that.
Yeah. And the NBA does that.
It also gives the players their moment to hold up their award, get cheers, get booed, whatever it might be, and not have to speak and not have to
sit through a whole hour-long program. And the NHL awards is so against what the culture of hockey in the NHL is. Yeah. These guys don't want the individual notoriety. They don't want the spotlight. It's been beaten into them that everything is all about team first, team first, team first. So you look for any individuality in any of these guys, and they're not going to do it. Also, it's cutting into their summer vacation.
There's something. Look, you could have George Carlin write the script for this award show, and the players no one reacts to anything. No. There's no reaction from the first 100 rows of the theater because it's players, wives, executives, and they're just like, there's a joke that might actually be decent, but you could hear crickets. Yeah. There's tumbleweed blowing across the stage. It's like, my God, have a little bit of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
They got to get into smelling salts like Ryan Reeves before the game. Just like,
right.
All right, go out for the award show.
And I know we're in Nashville, but does every presenter have to be some country music person you've never heard of?
It's because it's Nashville.
But, okay, so what are we going to do in Vegas next year?
Showgirls.
Is Zygmunt, the 2 Lion guys?
Didn't the guy get his face hit off?
Siegfried and Roy?
Yeah, one of them is dead.
Christopher Angel's going to come out and give away the Norris Trophy.
Britney Spears has got a residency.
Why am I blanking? Who's Dr. Shane?
Oh, Wayne Newton.
Wayne Newton.
They had him in Vegas to do the cranky thing before the game.
Be cranky?
No, that's my job. It's a little siren thing that they stole from Carolina. Yeah. He got that. He looked like they took one of the statues from the wax museum.
Yeah. Don't shine this light on his face. It'll look like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
But, so give me. We don't need it. It's fake. Everybody half the people there don't want to be there, and it's obvious, painfully obvious. So and who's watching it?
Yeah, it's us.
Who's watching it?
We have to.
Right. If I didn't have to, we turned it off halfway through, and this is technically our job. I said enough of this.
It's like Tommy Boy.
Steven was like,
"This or Gladiators?" Gladiators.
Steven was like, "Hey guys, I'm almost done with the Bedard video. Do you want to see it?" We're like, yes, put it on the TV. Yes. Put it on the TV screen and play it on a loop for the next half an hour because I don't want to watch this anymore.
Exactly. It's ugly, and I get that they're trying to make it look big, they're trying to make it look like they matter, they're doing the red carpet thing, but it's just a culture clash with these players, and we talk about how hockey culture is kind of screwed up as it is. I don't know if there's anything wrong with being a good teammate. That's a good thing, and not wanting accolades, because you heard Bedard talk, and he's always like teammates. I couldn't do it without them. And that's fine and good, but it just, so when you're trying to highlight the individual, it's just the wrong business to do it in. The way you highlight these guys, I thought what they did for Stamkos for the Messier Award was great. Here's why this guy is great. He comes out, accepts the award, says a little bit of thing, and walks away.
Well, even Stamkos has a little bit of a personality.
Yeah, he was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
he's been doing it for so long, and as they pointed out in the presentation, he's used to being at public functions and doing these types of things.
He's had a lot of awards.
Yeah, he's making TV commercials with Victor Hedman. He's got
like that commercial.
It's a very good commercial. So he's got a little personality. So he's a good guy to do it. But we've all talked to enough hockey players and professional athletes as a whole. A lot of these guys they don't want to do it. It's a weight They'd rather be drinking protein shakes and lifting weights than spending 10 minutes talking to, some putzes with recorders in their face.
Well, who can blame them? Speaking of commercials, a new endorsement for Connor Bedard.
Yes.
He's a Lululemon endorser.
Lululemon.
And if you check out that photo, I tweeted it from somewhere. Probably the wrong thing because it's been that kind of week for me so far. He is wearing Sherwood gloves and wearing a Sherwood and holding a Sherwood stick.
Yeah.
So it looks like the Sherwood endorsement will be announced soon as well.
That is quite the assumed get for Sherwood. I know Alex DeBrincat is a Sherwood player. So I mean, you get a Connor Bedard to be a guy for Sherwood. Like, talk about your brand kind of accelerating back. I know Sherwood was, early, years ago was a little bit more of a player in the equipment game, and then kind of fizzled out a little bit. They're coming back a little bit now. You get the next face of the NHL with your brand. Like, that's huge. It's to not go with like Bauer or CCM is it's an interesting decision, interesting choice. But hey, you want to be the face of a brand completely? You go with Sherwood.
It's a hell of a name to rebrand with too.
Yeah,
I'm a Sherwood guy, by the way. I use Sherwoods.
Sure. Are they an option on Build a Player?
There's one on my wall at that. Yeah.
Okay. I will be using
Sherwood's.
Sherwood's.
Warrior. They got all kind of
All right. Well, next time I create a player on an NHL game, I will be using Sherwood only because
they also have the Titan sticks.
What's great about that, by the way, is when you create Connor Bedard for your Blackhawks season, because you can't put him there officially because he's too young.
Yeah.
You can use him on Ultimate Team, but you could like fill in the name, and it's like Bedard or like Bernard or something very close to Bedard, but they didn't put it in there. And Christian says Bedard will be marketed everywhere in Chicago. I can't wait to see the Chicago endorsements he gets.
It's a good thing he
drive what Connor Bedard drives.
Is old enough to drive. Yes.
No, he's got his learner's permit.
Because there's your
drive what
Chevy
Connor
drives.
Bedard's mom drives him to practice.
There's your Chevy Drives Chicago.
I want apple juice. Joey P says he's wearing his new CHGO threads at the Salt Shed draft party tomorrow. Send us pictures.
Yeah.
Tweet at us with those.
Get some pictures of that.
Find CHGO social media
Emma will
coordinator,
be there.
Emma. She's going to be out there.
She says slay a lot. That's how you know it's her.
We'll have some peeps out there covering that as well with us down here in Nashville. It's
awesome.
I've been so anxious. Not that I'm nervous. It's just like all this stuff going on. I'm just so excited to be right in the middle of it and knowing that, it's not even noon on a Tuesday and we've got 300 people tuning in right now. And it's
thank you.
And keep smashing that like button.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
It's exciting to be a part of something that is not only game-changing for the Chicago Blackhawks, but this whole draft and the way we're going to cover it is going to be game-changing for CHGO Blackhawks, CHGO, and the All-City Network. When the Blackhawks are good again, it's big deal for everybody involved. Just like, hey, look what the Bears are doing. Could you imagine what happens to this company if and when the Bears get to a Super Bowl? I mean, it's good for everybody involved. So leading that charge for CHGO and ALLCITY is exciting, and it's just kind of still surreal being here for all this stuff, and looking forward to what the next few days bring.
Got some news
professionally here. and as a fan of the game.
Kevin Weeks 1 minute ago tweeted the Blues are trading for Kevin Hayes from the Flyers, a 6th-round pick. There could be another component to the deal. So Kevin Hayes to the St. Louis Blues.
For a 6th-round pick?
6th-round pick. Did the Flyers,
2024 6th. Sorry.
I mean, that doesn't make it any better.
They're giving him away.
They're giving him away.
Yeah. And he was...
Wait.
I don't know.
The Flyers don't have to shed money.
Danny Briere just doesn't like anybody, apparently.
Yeah,
he said there could be more to the deal.
You know what he's doing? He's doing Kyle Davidson's plan.
Yeah.
I'm putting my stamp on this new team and getting rid of anything.
Oh, Chuck Fletcher signed you?
Yeah.
Gonzo.
Getting rid of anything that the former guy had anything to do with.
And that trade was supposed to be much bigger.
Copycat league.
It worked for the Blackhawks, but
tear it down, get the first overall pick.
That trade was supposed to be a lot bigger. There was rumors that it was going to involve Torrey Krug.
Yeah, and he said
going to Philadelphia, and they were also going to get Travis. The Blues were supposed to get Sanheim as well, another big defenseman.
So how do you go from that to future
sixth? That just tells me that the Flyers are like, well, and it's out there. The Flyers are trying to trade this guy, and now, sorry, Torrey Krug said no, used his no trade clause.
You've ruined your leverage.
But now you have to trade this guy to us. Because good luck getting him in your locker room with John Tortorella, who he already hates.
Yeah.
and saying, "Well, we tried to trade you, but go out there and get him, big guy." Like, no, it was Torrey Krug screwed the Philadelphia Flyers, and I'm here for that. I'm okay with that.
Hey,
he earned that no trade clause, and I like it when players use it. You don't give them no trade clause if you don't think it's going to bite you in the ass.
And Blues fans, I know there's a lot watching. Don't be pissed at Torrey Krug, because what I hate about it is there's this assumption that, well, he signed a no movement clause, but we're just going to ask him to waive it, and he's going to. That's the Patrick Kane thing. Is Patrick Kane's like, look, if I want to go, I'll go, but you're not just going to trade me for anything. I want to be a Ranger. Can you make that happen?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'll go to the Rangers. That's it. Yeah. Like, that's why you sign these things, and that's why he who shall not be named. We don't have our jar, so I had to be really careful there. Like, when he was handing them out like it was nothing, it matters. Because what if you could have traded Brent Seabrook 2 years into that deal when he had a little bit of value? You know what I mean? And but no, with the no movement clause, and it's got to be all like it just stifles you.
We're gonna be dealing with that with Seth Jones here in a few years.
Yeah. If I'm a GM, I never sign those.
I don't.
I would say give me a no trade list.
Yeah, I do.
Modified, or maybe you put it on a back end of it.
You have the right to refuse a trade to pick 8 teams you never want to play for, and I won't trade you to those 8 teams. Like Jake McCabe.
Well, and Taylor Hall had a modified no trade list, and Blackhawks weren't on it, so
they didn't have to ask his approval.
Welcome to Chicago.
I don't get mad at players who exercise that. They earn that. They were given that. Torrey Krug.
It's just so awkward.
Torrey Krug has.
Welcome back, Torrey.
You can't trade me. I'm staying.
Yeah, you can't fire me. I quit. But 2 reasons. I'm sure the 2 biggest reasons that he did that was he's got 2 young daughters. They're probably, just starting school. You don't want to pick that up and move it if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And why would you want to go to a rebuilding team with John Tortorella as your head coach? That's going to be miserable. That's not what Tortorella signed up for.
And he's not a Tortorella-style defenseman.
No, it would be miserable. It would be an awful fit, and good for him to do it. But here's me. Last trade deadline, I'm praising Doug Armstrong for moving on from guys like Vladimir Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly, getting what he can for them, getting good packages for them, and thinking you still have a lot of your core from 2019 signed, and you got to go get some young players. And he even said we're going to look to get younger. And he goes and gets Kevin F. and Hayes. That's a lateral move.
It's not younger.
It's going right back to what he was doing. So all that praise I heaped on you last April to this trade.
And their core is starting to age. Their core is aging too. They're all 30 or older.
Yeah, I mean they had enough. They still have. I still think they're good enough with Kevin Hayes, obviously, to be a playoff team next year. But they're not a cup contender by any means.
I mean, you still got Robert Thomas, you got Jordan Kyrou, but
are they thinking like, I don't know? Are they thinking they're Dallas? Because Dallas is good because their old core still remains. But their young players are jumping up, and they've been effective. They don't have a
Mikko Heiskanen. They don't have a Jason Robertson.
But I'm wondering, does St. Louis think like, we're like them?
No, because they have Jordan Binnington, not Jake Ottinger.
That's a very good point. The Blues, you are not. No, that's not you. But hey, if you believe it, by all means,
they're closer to being the Red Wings than they are the Stars as far as trying to contend with piecemeal pieces.
Speaking of that. Very much seems like the Brinkhead's going to end up in Detroit. That's almost become an assumption at this point.
That seems to be the case.
He's from Michigan, guys. It's got to happen. Those are the rules. Yeah. You go back and play for your hometown team.
Yeah. That's a little painful.
It
could be worse.
Stings a little less than it would have 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
But
it could have been the Blues, but it would have been.
He's way too young for the Blues. We just talked about this.
I'm not interested.
They'll trade for him in 5 years.
Yeah, are you rickety? Get away. We don't want you.
No, he owns the Cubs.
Tom Rickety. There you go.
Hey, the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, guys.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, it saves you money and energy.
It does?
It's one of the worst kept secrets out there.
We should let our listeners know about it.
I will. That ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, it is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities that they serve help manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
Yes, now that you're saying this, it is ringing a bell. And if I recall correctly, the ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades, right? Commercial, industrial. public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. I think I have that right so far. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Jay, I think you're remembering it correctly. Can you tell me more about how it works?
I'm trying to think, and I believe that an authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan. Yes, that's what it is. And that plan is specific to your goals and needs, and they can be done in person or virtually and last about 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, you'll receive a report detailing energy efficiency products you can start working on immediately. Each recommendation includes estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you own a business, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to, listen up, ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you say biz? I dozed off.
I did say biz.
Okay. Biz,
Powering
B-I-Z.
Biz. ComEd.com/poweringbiz. Beelzebub says Anthony Mantha for a second rounder this year and a third in next year's draft. No. Absolutely not.
You don't give up a second and third in a cap dump.
I would take Mantha and a second and a third.
Yeah.
Is that all coming to the Hawks? Then we can talk.
No. Mantha's a bum. Anywho, you know what's not
a bum?
Shady Rays.
Sorry, I saw that. I was like, whoa, God, no, we gotta address that immediately.
We got another read. It is freaking hot down here in Nashville, and the sun is out and it's warm. And I packed not one but two pairs of my Shady Rays. They were front and center in our Taylor Hall Nick Foligno video on Twitter yesterday. People were asking. I love that we put that on there and we had 20 comments. Oh, look at those Shady Rays. That means people are loving their Shady Rays, and you could take on the warm weather here in Nashville or wherever you are with gear built to last from our friends at Shady Rays, who have you covered with their premium polarized shades at a very affordable price. That's the key. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've ever worn. I say even better. They got durable frames and extremely clear optics for their outdoor adventures, or if you're trying to battle the glare from that amazingly bright ring light.
Yes, this is actually helping.
Yeah, good.
I should have put these on earlier.
I should have brought my pair up here. But that's not all. Shady Rays offers you the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they have told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. And together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much needed support to nonprofit partners throughout the United States with the Shady Rays Impact Program, from building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. So look good and feel good at the same time. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, but you're not a weirdo, you're going to love them, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Shady Rays always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, get ready for this. It's the best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you're going to save 50% on all orders of 2 or more pairs of their awesome polarized sunglasses, rated 5 stars by over 250,000 satisfied customers.
All right, a couple other bits of news. Sarah Valley confirms the Flyers and Kevin Hayes deal. The Flyers are retaining half of Hayes' salary for the remaining 3 years of his deal. 3.571 is the cap hit for the Blues there. And Pierre LeBrun says, hearing Seattle, Toronto, and Carolina are among several teams who have called and chatted with San Jose about Erik Karlsson.
Norris Trophy winner Erik Karlsson.
If you're going to trade Erik Karlsson, now is the time.
Absolutely.
Toronto, I don't know how they can afford him. What's going back? Did they say what's going back to Philly?
Weeks said a 6th-round pick.
There's no way that they're giving up just a 6th-round pick for 50% retention. There's no way that's it.
He said there could be another component to the deal, but that's the latest that they have here. Again, here's LeBrun just now. Flyers have traded Kevin Hayes to St. Louis for a 6th-round pick. Flyers retain 50%. That's it.
Fire Danny Barrera right now. That's awful.
That's horrible.
That's awful. you should be getting at least a second-round pick for the retention.
Yes.
Is Kevin Hayes that big of a pudwhack? I mean, he did poop on some stairs once. I will never forget that.
It was a stairwell.
He is,
which is a very private area.
Kevin Hayes will always be hashtag stair pooper to me.
It's true. I mean, look, Ryan O'Reilly drove through a Tim Hortons. Like, everyone's got their, when I was 20, when I was in my 20s, I was a moron too. And I'm still a moron, just in different ways. But
that's an awful trade.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
All right, Doug Armstrong, I apologize. Like,
he's like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes the Blues better.
We'll do it for a future sixth.
You're giving him nothing for him, so all right.
And for only half the salary?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure. I mean, at that point, it makes sense for the Blues, who are clearly not rebuilding by any way, shape, or form.
Danny Briere has evened himself out. All the amazing credibility he earned with that Ivan Provorov deal.
Yeah.
He just flushed that down the toilet with the stair pooper.
Appropriately.
Flushed it down the stairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Windy City Hockey says, wait, what? Hayes poop on a stair?
Yeah,
Yes,
it happened when he was in college, before the Hawks even drafted him.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a former Blackhawks first-round pick.
I've always thought he was a pudwhack because he didn't sign here.
Red flags were different 13 years ago.
I guess so.
Brown flags.
What a perfect.
Keep setting me up, man.
This is a perfect way to end this episode.
Yeah, I think you may be seeing slap happiness set in a little bit at this point.
Yeah, we're on fumes.
Yeah, we are on our way to Hopsmith.
Yes.
So if there's still time to get some tickets, jump in.
Hop on over.
We want to say thank you, by the way. It's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. We've got almost 300 people in the chat, but only 118 likes. So before we log off, please smash that like button.
We'll do a tank spin. No, just kidding.
Yeah, we'll do a tank spin. Exactly. Hey, the Hawks won.
Hey,
whoa.
But okay, so the plan. Recapping. Tomorrow we are covering the draft. All three of us are going to be there. Steven's going to be there. Casey's going to be there. We're going to be covering all the post-draft stuff. Mm-hmm. So the show will be roughly an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour after the draft wraps up. I know it's a late night, but it's a huge night. We want to be there to give you as much coverage as we can. And if you want to catch that coverage, follow us, CHGO_Blackhawks. Follow CHGO Sports on Twitter, CHGO_Sports. Same deal on Instagram, CHGO_Sports. We're going to be putting content up nonstop. You'll see Steven's hype video coming soon tomorrow. And remember, later this afternoon, the All-City mock draft drops. So there is so much content coming at you from Nashville. Watch, and by the way, the mock draft is YouTube only. There's not going to be a podcast of it, so watch it. It's really funny. We step up to the podium.
It's fun.
It's worth it just for our guy Petey's accents.
Petey's the best, and me saying Regina. Yeah. Even though I triple clarified before we made the Paulina and Lunt joke, we did everything, and I still said it wrong.
Yeah.
I go like, Regina. I was nervous. It was like I was actually making the pick.
It was a little nerve-wracking coming up here.
It was scary. Petey was not scared.
No, he was ready to go. He was ready to go with his nice Google Translate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Check it out. It's pretty. I was amazed. It was like 40 minutes. Yeah, we got through the whole thing in 40 minutes.
Flew through it way faster than I expected.
Yeah.
I think it's because we said no trades.
Definitely.
Let's just draft.
And our guys AJ and Rudo from DNVR Avs are kind of the hosts. They break down every little pick. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Make sure to check it out. We will let you know when that hits live. Don't worry.
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow after the draft. Don't miss it. Stay up late with us. I know it's Wednesday night. Call in sick Thursday. It's an historic night for the Blackhawks.
No Blackhawk fans are going to be able to sleep Wednesday night.
No, exactly
it's
right.
Too much adrenaline.
Yeah, and it's not just going to be Bedard. There's going to be the pick at 19. If it's traded up, traded down.
11 picks.
There's so much happening. And same plan Thursday. Draft starts at 10. Should be over around 4-ish, I would think. Mm-hmm. Same deal. We'll cover the post-draft stuff and come and do a show then.
Casey is right now with the Connor Bedard availability, so keep your eyes peeled to the Twitter account for that.
Yep.
Kyle Davidson speaking later today. I'm going to cover that. We're going to keep you abreast on everything going on here in Nashville.
You said abreast. All right, we'll talk to you Wednesday after the draft on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
So mature.